Good day, everyone. Richard Cowperthwait for Northwest Access TV. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're having one of our occasional Swanton Today for the record shows. Happy to have James Gilmet, the Swanton Select Board Chair, and Selectman Ed White joining us today. Good to see you folks. Should note we're taping this show on Wednesday, July 20th, and James, we talked off air, not the most fun day to be working in a job like yours, I guess.
A little warm out there today. So.
A little warm, but we've been pretty lucky. It's actually been a pretty nice summer up here.
It has been. Yeah,
Boy, as we talk about summer, heading into midsummer here, I guess. Anyway, I guess ARPA, we talked about that briefly before
ARPA
the air.
Funds, probably.
Yeah, American Rescue Plan Act. So still figuring, how much money did the town get?
We ended up is right around 1.2 million.
Really?
So, yeah, it
Decent
was
hunk of money.
Originally supposed to be around 600,000, and they keep adding more. And
Really?
Ended up with the 1.2 million. So.
Have you made some decisions on that yet?
Nothing set in stone, but everybody's given their own opinion. We had a public input meeting took input from the public. I would say the number one thing is a community center that everyone wants to see out of it.
Huh.
Obviously, 1.2 million is not going to build it, but hopefully they'll put some money towards it. There were some ideas to put some of that money towards that, some towards some infrastructure money for some of our buildings that we own, the town.
Yeah.
And some money towards highway projects, hopefully, and some other little things. But
and again, you still have a fair amount of time to figure out what to do with that money.
We do. We have till the end of I don't know the exact date, but 2024 to figure out how we're going to spend it, and then you have till 2026 to actually spend the money. So.
Had anything jumping right into your mind, and how you like to spend that money?
Well, the biggest thing, and I think I speak, well, I don't think I know I speak for the majority of the board, is we really want to do something for the rec department, rec department. I mean, people that haven't utilized it don't really realize how much we need to upgrade it. For me, fortunately, I have one of my children that goes there, and I see the job they do and the working conditions that they're presently under. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but I mean, they're seeing 100 kids a day there.
Really?
And
I believe one of your colleagues heads up the department, does she not?
Yes, Nicole. And so we in our discussion, we all agree that we want to definitely do something with that money to the rec department.
And if they had more money, they'd be able to, I mean, maybe more staff, just more programs, whatever?
More of a facility for them to do their stuff than it is the staff, indoor events or whatever. The problem is now they're doing these summer programs and they have tents outside. They really don't have an indoor facility big enough for 100 kids. So a rain day, they have trouble, keeping everyone out of the rain. But,
like Monday there we had the storm and they had put all the kids in the dugouts because I mean the present facility at the rec hall can't house 100 kids.
No, it used to be the rec garage and they converted it into utilize that space. So
So you mentioned community centers. So Swanton, really the town really just doesn't have one.
Not really. I mean, we have the library is probably the biggest thing we have for there's some space downstairs they do things in and stuff, but we don't really have any other than the schools. But it's not really the town's own thing for space.
Any thoughts as to the site? If you moved on a community center, is there a clear, obvious site?
They're taking some look into the space that we have at the rec that we own for land to see if it could be built there. I mean, that's the most logical place to have the rec facility with the rec. Everything will be there with the ball fields and everything. We have the 4th Street property over there that we're going to use some of that, develop it as part of the rec too. Maybe it might be a couple ball fields over there or something.
Talking about the site of the former town?
The old town garage.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've decided not to sell that last year and keep it for our own use. And they've talked about different things to help with the rail trail or the rec path, I should say. On there, there's a couple of things coming down the pipe. They're trying to build a parking area, maybe some bathrooms and a little pavilion over off Robin Hood on that new Mile Valley Rail Trail for an entrance so people could park there and use the trail, or the snowmobilers could park there in the wintertime and take off from there.
Or the rail, of course, the rec path and through the village, pretty much the
Yeah.
western terminus of the Lamoille
Mhm.
Valley Rail Trail, of
Yeah.
course, which has been getting a lot of attention. I think I heard the governor on radio this morning say maybe another 6 months. I think I was hearing
Yeah,
end of this year, but definitely by next year should be
Yeah.
totally completed between Swanton and St. Jay.
yeah,
That
Yeah,
should
they're
be hopefully a
completing it.
boost for Swanton, for any town along there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see some more
is
traffic.
it 95 miles or something like that?
93, I think, yeah,
Something
you're
like
very
that,
close.
yeah.
It's in the
There's a
90s.
couple
Yeah.
big bridges that they're finishing up now, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I guess
but
they've done a fair amount of work in Franklin County. I haven't
They
been out in
have, they
Franklin
put in a
County.
big bridge up in East Fairfield right
Yeah.
now, and then
Huh.
I thought there was one over in Sheldon too, but I could be wrong. And then I think there was 4 bridges. I went to a meeting a year or so ago
Oh, yeah.
about it, and I think there was 4 bridges they had left to replace, so
Huh.
big things.
Swanton, just a little over halfway through your calendar year.
Yeah.
How you doing fiscally, financially at this
Good.
point, James? All
Good,
right?
everything's running pretty good, so.
I'm sure inflation doesn't come into play at all, right? Is inflation
No,
pretty
no, not at
pretty
all.
obvious
When we see
factor?
our fuel bill every month, not so bad now, but this
Right.
winter we spent some money on fuel.
Yeah, so
pal.
much for temporary
Yeah.
temporary inflation issue. That's been pretty
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
Nice to see gas prices finally starting to
Mhm.
go down a bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but that's obviously impacting anything you have to do about just inflationary pressures on your budget. or-
Yeah, well, we just did a huge box culvert job on Beebe Road that
Yeah.
was planned, and it cost more money than, I mean, when it finally, we had the price and contract, we did the job, but
Yeah.
it was more than anticipated in the beginning because of price, everything's gone up, so.
Yeah.
And we have another culvert that we gotta replace on McQuam Shore, that's a emergency repair, basically. It's gotta be done this year, cause it's failing, so that's a expensive project, so.
So summer projects, other summer projects, we're talking some repaving going on here?
We're
and there?
almost, actually should be done this week, the last
Oh,
bit, Wheel Around and Beebe Road, the last 2 roads we had left to pave, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there again, Richard, we weren't able to cover all the areas that we wanted to
Mhm.
because of costs increase.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The price of
So
asphalt.
that cut down on some of the repaving?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Some
we
of them
couldn't, we were
to-
supposed to pave one more road, we just didn't have
We had to
the
go with the
budget, so-
priorities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
And we were lucky enough to get a grant for the BB Road for the paving, so it covered most of the cost of the pavement for that road, so.
What do you try, I assume there's kind of a plan for all this stuff. Ideally, how often are you repaving, say, BB Road or any other?
Usually 10 to 12 years, every
Alright.
road try to get repaved. I don't
Yeah.
mean it's always gonna be that way, but
Yeah,
it's usually ready to be repaved by that time, so.
yeah,
Some last longer than others, some don't, so.
yeah.
But, we have a $320,000 or $35,000 paving budget.
Yeah,
God, it used to be $90,000 a mile, so it doesn't go very far. It's more than that now. I couldn't tell you the
is that
exact
right? It used to be
number.
90,000 a month?
No, it used to be 90,000 a mile before COVID, so I'm sure it's probably
Yeah.
150,000 a mile now, so.
Interesting.
I think we paved 2-point-something miles this year out of it, so, yeah.
You're still pretty new town administrator. Brian Savage has been on the job for some months. Sounds
Yeah.
like off to a good
Started
start in his
December.
new
It's
job.
been phenomenal, so
Yeah.
glad to have him aboard.
And as I said,
Yeah.
makes your life,
Makes my life a lot
little
easier.
easier.
It sure does, yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
he can handle things himself. He's very well educated, so.
Huh. He's officially town administrator.
That's
Yes,
right.
Does it cross your
Yeah.
mind to, I guess, upgrade that position to a town manager, or
Yeah.
town administrator's working fine right now?
I don't know if we can make him a town
Really?
manager. We had that discussion when we were looking to fill that position,
Huh,
and I don't remember the exact reason.
interesting. Seems like there are a few towns.
I don't think we could because we are select board. If
Oh,
I
yeah.
could, I'm just quoting, don't quote me to it,
Yeah.
but I think it had something to do, like the trustees have a manager, but they're trustees, unlike we're the select board, so.
Right.
I think it had something to do with that, but I'm not positive.
It sounds like situation's working
But he
out
does
okay.
oversee some of the staff in the building
Yeah.
too, so that, somebody in the building oversees everybody day to day, it makes things easier, so.
Has the staffing situation for the town been pretty stable? I know, of
Yeah.
course, the select board in recent years has gone through quite a few changes.
Yeah, we seem to be very stable now, the select board, and
Yeah.
all our positions are filled. Actually, the roughest thing we got now is, we need a health officer,
Oh, yeah.
so, yeah,
Interesting.
health officer, trying to fill that position.
Huh.
And, it does have a stipend, they get paid for every month,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
Had
That's
a
it.
good walk out on the Missisquoi National Refuge the other day. Love getting out there.
Yeah,
Do you get any benefit, any tax benefit from,
It's
is there any pilot money?
pennies. It's pennies. It's
Is that right?
like
Almost nothing.
$3,000 a year or
Really?
something. It's not much.
Boy,
Yeah.
not much.
No, not at all.
Do you ever,
Yeah.
have you tried to get more money, or good luck dealing with the feds about getting more money out of the feds?
We
Not even worth talking
tried.
about,
No.
probably. Is that
Yeah.
right? So you get almost nothing,
Yeah, it's pennies. I've looked at it before. It's like 3,000-ish and change. It's not much.
really?
Yeah.
Because every once in a while, I'll see that issue come up with, property that's not paying
Yeah.
any property taxes.
Yeah. And we just had a year or two ago, they took over another chunk of land off
Yeah,
from,
they've expanded.
going down towards McComb Shore out of Swan. They took over a piece of land down there. It was brought up that, now it's gonna come off the tax base because it's not, it's going to feds, we aren't getting nothing out of it, so, and we were asked, questioned them, what are you gonna do for us now that we're gonna allow you to take over that piece of land,
Yeah,
I'd like to see something recreational there or something to do with the wildlife refuge, or something,
yeah,
but I don't know if we'll ever see anything, but,
interesting.
no.
And that makes me
And it
think
was
of-
brought up, we actually talked about it last night with this whole 78 project that's gonna happen
About to
supposedly in
ask
another
you
4 or
about
5
that.
years, so.
Yeah,
That, the state should really go back and think about a bike path or walking path or something in 78 to get out to the refuge. There's nothing from Swanton Rail Trail or rec path to get to the refuge, and that's Earl brought it up last night, that it's a real important piece to Swanton,
yeah.
for people that come into town and.
Yeah, I agree. I logged in my early years in Franklin County, logged about 4 or 5 years out there.
Mhm.
And boy, driving, I'm happy I'm still with us, having been driving on
Yeah.
Route 78 for several years,
Mhm.
but
It's a
I'll
scary
occasionally
road.
see a
Yeah.
bike rider along there
Oh, God.
and just
Cringe.
cringe.
Yeah.
Scares you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there
Five
some
minutes.
talk about possibly trying to do a bike path when they do the upgrade?
There isn't anything in their plan. They came to
Yeah.
us last fall with what they're gonna do, and it literally nothing.
And it
They're
sounded
gonna,
like they're
the
not-
only thing I saw, the whole thing, is over by, Campbell's Bay Road where they're always fishing on the side of the road.
Yeah.
They're supposed to put in a sidewalk there and a fishing access area for the people
Wow.
to actually fish off there, so,
Not really.
yeah. Keep
So
them
don't
on the road.
expect any significant changes,
Not,
really?
not that I can see in their plan. They're literally gonna widen it 2 feet to 4 feet, I think, and not elevating it.
Yeah,
So it's rebuilt in place, so.
wow,
Like a 4-year project, I think, once it starts, something like that.
interesting. That makes me
Yeah.
think, I was up in Montreal yesterday taking note, of course, of, I guess it's what, kind of the interstate like Route 35?
Yeah.
And are we hearing, I'll occasionally ask the border people when I'm crossing back through on maybe both sides, and ask them, when's that last segment? And
leg.
they kind of laugh and said, hey, is that a serious question? But
Yeah.
are you hearing, I'm hearing like a
I-
couple of years, but I'm not sure what
Yeah,
that's
I haven't
for.
really heard nothing about it lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there some hope that that might, cut down on truck traffic a bit when that segment, or does that seem kind of irrelevant to you guys?
I don't think it's gonna change it.
I don't think it's gonna change a lot, but I
Yeah.
think they have said that it might help to keep the trucks on the
Yeah.
interstate and not through the village, but
I'm sure you're
I
no
think
reason to hold
a
your
lot
breath
of them, I
about
think, are
that.
coming up through New York and then they cross over to
Right.
wherever they're going, but.
Boy, the truck
Yeah.
traffic,
Yeah.
obviously, just an issue that I guess it seems like will always be there. Seems like I'm hearing about the
Yeah.
percentage of traffic is something like 16-17%
Yeah.
truck traffic, which is obviously
Yeah,
way well higher than the typical percentage in a community.
yeah,
Boy, it's tough, but I guess that's the way it is, huh?
yeah. There has been some chatter, and has been for a while, that talking about a welcome center on the interstate out of the Swanton area, so.
Yeah, I've
They've
heard
been
some talk
talking about that, but
In fact, I
the
mentioned to the
state
folks.
wants it, but there's no help from the state to build it, so, yeah.
Interesting, yeah, as I was crossing back at
Yeah.
Highgate yesterday, mentioned to the folks in my car, used to be a Vermont Welcome Center there that they tore down some
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah,
So maybe some loose talk about another welcome center.
yeah, that's what they're talking about, but I don't know if we'll ever see it,
Interesting.
but,
And they're talking south of 21,
yeah, they did
Oh,
say
yeah.
that last night at the meeting,
Oh.
yeah. So they want to,
from what we understand.
on the interstate, so,
Huh,
yeah. Yeah, but who knows?
interesting.
Yeah.
So truck traffic, Ed, do people still complain to you about that, or is it such an
Oh,
old issue?
no,
Why?
people still complain.
It's still
It's
there.
still-
We-
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
our hands are tied.
Mhm.
There's really nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't see it
No.
changing
I don't see
anytime
it changing
soon.
either, no.
Yeah, that's a tough issue. On the brighter side, again, Swanton, I know you've got music events, again, the car show, that great car show coming up Saturday,
absolutely.
July 30.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big event. It's
Yeah,
good
it is a big
money
event.
raiser for the Chamber of Commerce, and
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's a real good event. They do a
The
good
only
job.
problem we're having there,
boy,
Richard, we're outgrowing the space.
boy, I bet you are, because I
Yeah.
usually catch that, and boy, it seems
Yeah.
like every inch of the green is filled up.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Is there any better site? I mean,
Not really in the core of the village or
doesn't
the
seem
core of
like
the
it.
town. Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah.
it's a double-edged sword because it's really something
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you would like to see remain downtown
Yeah,
Yeah.
as that calling card.
yeah,
You know, that's just like,
Mhm.
and you know, you look at what some of the other communities are doing. For an example, I didn't realize it at the time, but then I realized that St. Albans has always done their car show on Kingman Street.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
they just had
outgrew
that.
Kingman Street.
I saw
so
that.
this year they had it on
Saturday.
Lake Street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, up
And-
Main Street, and yeah.
So everybody's got the same idea, but there again,
Yeah.
it's coming up with the space to be able
Yeah.
to accommodate,
yeah.
Yeah.
because it's getting bigger and bigger every year.
I suspect
I
it'll
mean-
be, again, basically SRO. I'm sure you're going to have to probably tell some folks no room for them, probably.
Yeah.
Is it Chamber of Commerce the official
Chamber of Commerce is
sponsor?
the official sponsor.
Oh, in
Yeah,
fact,
they run it.
I think we turned people away last year
That wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise
I'm
me.
not sure. Yeah.
because Mark would be able to tell us if he
Yeah.
was here.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a post the other day. They had 50 spots left, so
Oh,
and
really?
that was about a week ago. So yeah,
Because I mean, we're getting a lot of New York traffic. A lot of
Sure,
people
I
from
bet.
New York are coming over
Yeah.
to enter their cars and the show.
St. Albans Sound had a great show about a month ago. I caught it month and a half ago at the
Yeah.
Bay Park.
Yeah.
But there was filled up. It was
Yeah.
a real nice show.
Yeah.
So, and again, music every, 3 weeks or so on the
think so.
Village Green?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
the farmer's market.
third Sunday of every month where we've got the farmer's market going and vendors coming in
Yeah.
and live music. And I think we've got 3 different vendors for food.
I think so.
But I
Yeah.
think what
They
they're
do
doing is they're
rotate, yeah.
rotating it.
Yeah.
So that you don't have the same
Yeah.
same
Same
vendor
thing all
there
the
at
time.
each event.
Yeah.
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 So that's good that was able to happen.
Yeah, sounds like some good stuff out there. The pandemic never seems to go away. Is it officially an endemic now? But whatever. Does that affect your meetings at all? Have you been holding regular
Where everything's
meetings for a
back to the
while?
way it was. You know,
And
we still
are you
have
Zooming
this,
also or not?
yeah, we still have Zoom. We actually put in a
Yeah.
new system for the Zoom, so
Huh.
that it actually works now, and we have a big TV screen on the wall.
Yeah,
It works much better than what we had. So
and you're getting obviously some new people with the Zooming, I assume,
yeah,
or
you
a
get
few.
a few people. It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Depends on what's on the agenda.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, Richard, because we just don't seem to get the amount of people to attend these meetings that
Yeah.
should.
So typically, you're talking just a few people at a
Handful.
handful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
And-
generally, that's because they're on the agenda for something. So you know.
Yeah.
So just almost nobody just kind of interested in
No,
the
I
town.
think the biggest draw we had was, as I'm sure you're aware,
I'm sure,
the
yeah.
town passed ATV
Yeah.
on some of the roads in the town.
Huh.
We had a full house
Yeah, we
Right.
did.
that night,
Yeah.
Right.
Staying
Is
around
that-
only.
Is that right?
Yeah. It
you know,
was.
so, I mean, it's kind of interesting at some point to see the priorities in the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the wake of that, tell me, has that, what was the vote or what
Yeah,
what was the decision?
all town roads are going to be open to the ATVs
Really?
in August. Yeah. And don't quote me on the date, but I think it's August
It's
7th.
starting
so,
sometime
Yeah, 'cause we had
yeah,
60
yeah, we
days,
had to
so-
warn it and everything for 60 days.
So
and
all town roads?
all town roads, yeah.
Yeah.
Only the ones that the town owns and maintains. But
Was that a select board decision?
it was.
or-
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet that was controversial.
Yeah. It wasn't too
not-
bad.
not that
Most everyone
controversial.
was for it, you know.
Really?
I think we have
Yeah, I
enough
don't-
people that
yeah, I
in
don't
our
think we-
town that really, you know, would enjoy it and use it. You know,
Yeah.
people have side by sides they want to go ride, and
Yeah.
like a lot of them said, they came to the meeting. They want to
Interesting.
leave from their house rather than truck their rig somewhere else.
Right.
So
Huh.
But
Yeah.
bear in mind, the village hasn't passed it yet.
The village
Yeah.
hasn't passed it.
They are gonna go to the village to try
Huh.
to get the village aboard. but
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right now,
So just the town?
you
just
know,
the town
and
road.
it's-
So
you know, not to backtrack, but that's like the cannabis.
Yeah.
We got it passed in the town, but the village got
Yeah.
shot down.
Yeah.
That makes me think of cannabis, and I forget,
Yes.
Yeah.
did cannabis
Yeah.
pass in
We
the
passed it in the
Passed
town.
the town,
But
but
The
the
village
village
initially
shot it down.
defeated it and then shot it down a second?
both, yeah,
times?
both times it was shot down.
Interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
glad I thought.
So someone could open a shop in the town if they wanted, so.
Anybody talking about
I
it?
haven't heard anything from anybody. Actually,
No.
somebody asked that question
No,
last night.
it's almost like the door closed on it
Yeah,
after.
I don't know if they're waiting for the state to get it all finalized or
The
what.
Cannabis Control Board, or,
Mhm.
I haven't, that
Yeah.
issue doesn't seem to be getting a whole lot of attention, or at least I haven't noticed it.
No, I
getting
haven't
much.
seen much about it, yeah.
And if someone wanted to do that, do they have to get approval from the state board or the select board, or how do you know the process of,
I don't know all the ins and outs.
Yeah.
I was,
huh?
as far as I know, obviously I don't think there's permits at the state level they have to have, but as
Yeah.
far as a town, I don't think it's any other difference in any other business
Yeah,
having to get a permit. Yeah,
interesting.
because there's not, when there's talk about that, because there's nothing in our bylaws that are for that
Yeah.
particular thing.
Swanton Village PD, of course, still patrolling the town,
Yeah, yeah,
doing a okay job in your eyes.
yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
whenever I
we-
talk to the village people, I'm just always hearing about speeding, maybe any
Yeah,
other
that's
place.
just gonna come right out of my mouth. That's the biggest problem we got.
issue.
We did, they'll just give an example, we just, at the last meeting before last, they did a study for 8 days on Macomb Shore, and
Yeah.
there was 4,000 cars in 8 days that were doing 60 miles an hour, so.
Is that, are you
Yeah,
serious? 60 miles
and there was
an hour?
more above that, it was
Speed limit, of
insane.
course, being 40.
Yeah, I forget how many cars there was, 10, 12,000 cars must have been in 8
Really?
days on that
Wow.
road. but-
The problem is, Richard, is we definitely, we know we have the problem,
Yeah,
but, as I'm sure you're aware, our town contract with the village.
yeah,
Yeah,
certain amount of time,
Yeah,
obviously.
we're only getting 8 hours coverage a day, 7
Oh,
days
is
a
that
week.
right?
Yeah.
8 hours a day?
And our coverage is at five in the afternoon till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Huh.
yeah,
And
Wow,
I think the majority of those issues, mainly on Macomb Shore, are during the daytime hours.
yeah,
yeah,
So what they just proposed to us now is additional man hours,
yeah,
but I don't think we can find the money to.
really.
the
be able
extra
to do
money,
that.
I mean, it's,
Are
what did I
they
say?
doing okay staff, really, Swanton
Just-
Village PD staffing wise, are they holding up okay?
They're
They got a
full
full-
staff, is
they're
what they
full
tell us,
staff.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
But no
Yeah.
extras.
yeah,
Right.
no extras, so they,
And of course, the problem is here, if we were to go forward with their proposal
Yeah.
for the extra hours, that's with their present staff agreeing to do it.
Right. Wow,
So they're at full strength, but they, there's no
Yeah.
extras.
yeah,
no,
And, the problem is we got a significant increase in what it costs us
yeah,
from last year to this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
I bet,
And now to try to add more to it,
yeah.
yeah.
it's.
Because
yeah.
we did have the option,
Yeah.
before we signed a new contract to go to 24/7 coverage, and
Oh, is that right?
it was just too much
Yeah, we
money.
couldn't
It was
That
like
didn't-
300,
Sounds like that didn't get
400
much
some
serious,
thousand a year, I think it was, or something
Really?
like that.
We just.
I mean, ideally, I suspect you'd like 24/7 coverage.
We'd
in
like it.
an
We
ideal
would love
world,
it.
right?
Yeah,
But,
Not even, just no way you're even anywhere close to
There's a-
that.
yeah, you can only put so much in the
well,
budget.
the thing of it is when it comes to voting day,
Yeah.
and we had a hard time to get people to agree with the increase,
Yeah,
and then try to go to them for 24/7,
Sure.
it'll never happen in Swanton.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I shouldn't say never. I don't
Yeah.
think James and I or you will ever see it.
yeah,
I suspect you're probably right. Now, when
Yeah.
Swanton Village PD isn't patrolling, I mean, state police are around.
they do
Is
cover.
that just it? I
but
mean, they do some coverage,
They're
or,
stretched pretty thin.
They're the backup,
Yeah.
but
sounds like St. Albans
Yeah.
Barracks, probably with all the other barracks, is understaffed.
yeah, well, it's like James
Yeah,
reported last night. We had an incident the other day, and he called the state police, and they
Yeah.
said it was 45 minutes before they could
Really?
respond to an
Yeah.
accident.
Wow.
45 minutes.
took over half an hour before the trooper got there
Is that
to
right?
take care of the incident.
Wow. I know I talked to Sheriff Roger Lonsman not too long ago. I guess they've
Yeah.
had some towns coming to them who would love to
He-
contract with them, and he
Yeah.
can't do
He
it, just
just
to
told
have
me
the
the same
staff.
thing the other night, yeah.
Yeah.
Geez, that's, sounds
No.
like that's an issue for everybody. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
businesses in the town everywhere, just a labor shortage. Well, I guess, James, you can
It's
personally relate to
Same
that,
thing,
huh?
you can't find anyone else to work, so,
Right,
no, it's just sad, I don't know where other people are, it's beyond me,
wow.
yeah, I see it every day.
But the
No.
town of Swanton, you're okay with the town staffing?
The
If
town
that's-
staffing's full. We had a
Right.
part-time guy leave we had, and we ended up filling it with one of our retirees that retired a
Yeah.
year ago, came back to work for a couple days a week for something to
Yeah.
do, and worked out perfect, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
How village-town relations? I know you used to meet at least once in a while with village
Yeah,
trustees.
we
Any
just
recent
talked about
meetings?
setting up another meeting, so, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to be, before COVID, like every 3 months, but
Really? Yeah.
since then, it's kind of slipped back to every 6 months or so, so,
Yeah.
but,
I can only assume, I suspect Brian Savage and Reg Beliveau, I would guess, get on the phone once in a while.
they
but-
do.
I think
Certainly some
that's
communication.
on a
Weekly.
regular basis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say weekly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely work together, so.
And again, I see him, I always joke with the trustees, I'm the only person probably who asks you about merger. And does that
You
issue
are,
ever come
Richard.
up? Does anybody else ever bring up that subject?
Yeah.
Just me?
Uh,
I mean, once in a while?
Once in a while, you hear someone will jab you about it,
Yeah.
but it
But
I-
nowhere, nothing.
doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I just don't think you'll ever see it in my lifetime, but.
Yeah. Would
yeah.
you ideally, I mean, you happy with the way things, do you think it'd be better to have just one Swanton, or?
It might be simpler, but,
Yeah.
you know, we had a discussion about websites the other night because it's confusing to people that come to town, and a lot of
Two
people
different
don't
websites,
realize that
obviously.
there's
Sure.
Swan Town and Swan Village, you
Sure,
know, there's
A lot of
two.
people have no clue about
They
that.
don't realize that,
Yeah.
so it's a tough situation,
Yeah,
you know, because it is two different things, and,
yeah.
yeah. it's
Ed,
fun.
you think would you like one Swanton, or just not a big issue?
If you're asking me, are you asking me personally?
Sure,
I would love to see one Swan.
yeah.
I don't think it should be the way it is, but.
It
Yeah.
just sounds like there's just zero movement, just no
Yeah.
movement towards
Yeah.
it at this
No.
point
Well,
anyway.
I think the reality of it, Richard, is you got a lot of your residents in Swanton that are old school,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
they don't like change.
yeah,
And without change, you can't
Yeah.
go forward. You know that.
yeah,
You
that's
can't
some
go
real
forward.
change.
And I think that's the biggest
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I would be all for one Swan.
yeah. With the border, again, having just crossed the border myself yesterday, the arrived candidate to me is still kind of a pain, being the dinosaur I am, but not that tough. But are you noticing more Quebec with the border having opened up to some extent anyway, noticing
Yeah.
more Quebec
I see
Quebec
it
cars
all
around
going
and stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully a boost for local
Definitely.
businesses
People
to
get back
some
to their
extent.
camps now and stuff that they couldn't
Yeah.
get to, and, yeah. No, hopefully there'll be a boost for the business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a, boy, tough issue. I'm always seeing Gary Douglas, president of the chamber over in Champlain, I guess,
Yeah.
or Plattsburgh, I guess.
Mhm.
Just very, very unhappy with how slow the borders kind of
Yeah.
come back, but I guess there's at least some
Yeah.
movement at this point. Down to a couple of minutes. Ed, anything I haven't asked you about, we haven't talked about, you want to mention here with a couple
Well,
minutes left?
The nice thing is that we do have a new company coming into Swanton.
Yeah, oh, great.
A knitting company out
That's
of
right.
Milton
Yep.
Yeah,
has bought the old
Yeah, one of the Mylan buildings in
No,
North
Mylan
Park.
building,
oh, great.
and they
Bringing
hope to
about.
be settled in
Yeah, by the end of the year. They're bringing
Yeah.
about 70-ish employees with them, so,
Oh, great.
So
Yeah.
that's a positive thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
And we do have some interest in the cheese plant.
oh, yeah.
We have 4 prospective buyers of the cheese plant.
Huh.
Yeah, so.
So that
hopefully-
would be
yeah.
a great
Wow.
thing for Swanton
Yeah.
if that was to
Yeah,
come through.
Yeah,
The only other thing, quick mention, of course, it's Village is, maybe by next year at this time, the old dinosaur on,
And
The Riv.
talking about the Riv,
The Riv.
that's funny. Every
Yeah.
time I go by it, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why is that still there?
There-
well, they were on site yesterday,
Yeah.
Really?
looking at the possibility of contamination
yeah.
in the.
That's unbelievable to me,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
there.
well, it's holding, I know, it's just surprised it hasn't
But-
fallen down, but they got some asbestos they gotta remove.
At our
out of there.
meeting last night, we
Huh.
were told that, hopefully by next year at this time, we'll be able to
Be
take
gone.
Yeah.
that building down.
Wow.
Yeah.
James, you want the last few seconds here?
Yeah.
Anything else to touch on very quickly?
Just real quick, the Mbu Sidewalk Project is
I'm
still
sorry,
rolling.
that was on my
rolling-
list, thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah, rolling forward.
So moving ahead?
We ended up having to hire a new engineer company to help finish the project, because the other company closed up shop, but
Thank you, that should have
that's
been one of my first questions.
besides the point. So we hope to have the plan I had last night in front of me, that the project completed by spring of next year. Not done, but the
Yeah.
engineering phase of it, so we can put it out to bid.
So construction next year, hopefully?
Maybe,
Maybe.
we'll see.
On
But
that note,
it-
thanks for
yeah.
mentioning that.
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem.
to James Gilmet, the Swanton Select Board Chairman, Swanton Selectman Ed White. Thanks for your time, folks. And thanks to producer Alan Cunningham, our key guy out there. I'm Richard Cowperthwait. See you next time on Northwest Access TV. See ya.